Anyway, back to internships.
Right.
Yeah. Oh shit! I forgot what I was gonna say. Give me like 2 seconds.
Just take your time.
It's interesting. I kind of took the opposite approach where I was just like spray and pray. I'm like, you have an internship opening, you get an application, you get an application, you get an application.
Internship Oprah.
Literally. I'm just out here giving out applications to everybody.
Vuleka masango abese ngidala noma yini ngifuna uthando kudala ndilindiwe ndimane ngithi ngisendleleni ngiseduze abengidliwa yikwababa ngimane ngiswela amazwi kumtshela imizwa yami ngihlezi ngicabanga ngalosuku esizodibana ngalo ngizokubheka kanjani awebori ewathi mfana qinito lo musukusabange kuphikisa inhliziyo wavela umtshele njengendoda ukhiphe konke kusenhlizweni ngoba ixesha selihambile Yimi Lo usangikhumbula Vile bathi uthando liyamshintsha umuntu Ebathi uthando liyamveza umuntu Yimi Lo isesengu Vile bathi uthando liyamshintsha umuntu Ebathi uthando liyamveza umuntu into ayiyo Yimi Lo 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 Yimi Lo.
Welcome to Coloring Paris, a podcast about being an international student in Paris, especially a student of color. This is Tiffany, as always.
And it's Adam. Hi.
Well, yeah. You and I are always here.
Yeah, we're always here.
We live here. Today, I'm joined by
Sochi Aneke.
So today, we're going to be talking about internships and alternances. I think I pronounced that wrong, but it's okay. So basically, if you study here for a master's and I think also some bachelor programs, you're often required to do an internship or a stage. So today, I want to kind of talk about what an internship is, what an alternance is, and talk about our experiences so far having to find one in this lovely city.
Before we go on, maybe Sochi, you would like to introduce yourself to our listeners?
Oh, yeah, this is your first time.
It is my first time. What's the format? What should I say about myself?
Just introduce whatever you want. You can tell us as much or as little as you want.
All right. Let's see. Okay. So my name is Sochi. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in Paris for, I think this is my 7th month. Time flies.
Indeed.
I am a digital sciences master's student, an M2. And I came here to learn data science and French and how to live abroad and to escape America. Yeah, and that's me.
Okay, welcome to our podcast. We're all running from something here. So.
Look.
Literally. No, we're running to something, okay? I will not be an immigrant. I'm an expat, bitch.
I'm not an immigrant.
Is that the difference? I mean, an immigrant is running from something and an expat is running towards something.
Yeah, that's how someone defined it once. But I think it's just like white folks.
I was going to say, it's
people
just
with
a
money.
classist thing.
Yeah, it's a classist
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, it's not a... But I kind of did like that explanation. It's like, oh, you have something to avoid, so you run away from it. Versus like, that's a good opportunity, so I'll run towards it.
Yeah.
Which means you probably come from fucking wealth and money, but whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, kind of does. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So what is an internship?
For me, I've always understood an internship as a way to get experience, during the time that you spend in school, your time in school, you use the internship opportunities to get experience. and also to try out things that you might be interested in to find out if they actually work for you or not. Yeah.
I agree. It's an opportunity to get experience. I've personally never had internships like woven into the network of my degree, like in my past educational pursuits. So the fact that an internship was required here was attractive to me initially, and partially still now, because I like to learn hands-on. So any opportunity to do that is a plus to me.
I think I have the same sort of understanding that an internship is a place for you to learn, explore, and see what your future potential work could be. I kind of find that the French have a different idea of what an internship is supposed to be. Because I've applied to so many places and I've had internships, interviews, and all of them have said we're looking for someone who wants to do this. Like, this is 100% what you're into, so you can join this company. And I'm like, or they'll say, oh, you don't have enough information or experience in this field for you to even try. And I'm like, isn't that what an internship is? Like a trial period?
Because for some of them I've heard, oh, they train you on the job, whatever, it's fine, that's great. So this is kind of that sounds like a high expectation for me, at least to have all the skills when you come in.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I actually feel the same. I've experienced that as well. You apply to an internship, you go through the interview, you get to a certain level and they're like, oh, sorry, we wanted somebody that already has this on lock, somebody that has this. I'm like, no, I'm just looking to learn how to get this skill or to get this unlock. I don't have it already, and that's why I need an internship.
Exactly.
But over here, it's more like a stepping stone to the career that you want to pursue for the rest of your life, but not as an opportunity to explore things that you're interested in, really.
Yeah, I definitely get that feeling. I mean, I could be wrong. Like, maybe that was just their way of being like, we don't want you. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do get that feeling that there's a sort of differing idea in France, maybe. So moving on. So in alternance, there isn't one like that in the United States, if I'm correct.
I don't know that there's an equivalent word.
Okay.
Even.
I think there's apprenticeship that is close enough to the alternance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, we'll use apprenticeship because I'm definitely butchering that word. So the apprenticeship program is for 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And I think you do part-time in school and then part-time on the job training work. So usually I think it's 3 days with the company and then 2 days at your school. And I think the main difference is the work divide. So internship is full-time at the company and the apprenticeship is part-time. And then the pay is slightly higher as well for people who are doing an apprenticeship, with the expectation that you'll join the company when you finish your studies.
Yeah, I think the apprenticeship, it takes longer than a year sometimes. You have up to 3 years to do an apprenticeship in an organization. Yeah, you get between 6 months to 3 years. And then the arrangement also depends on you and your school and the organization. You can have 3 days at work and 2 days at school, or you can have 3 weeks at work and then 1 week at school. It absolutely depends on you. And then you're paid more than an intern. That's my favorite part. You're paid more than an intern, but less than a regular staff. So
I like that.
Yeah, it's
cool. Nice. I think it's a good sort of trial period for you and the company, so they get a lower risk stake in your investments. But let's talk about pay as an intern.
Let's talk about pay, y'all, because jumps in.
No, please go ahead.
Coming from the U.S. where there's even internships where they don't have to pay you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been coming from a very oh, wow, they're legally obligated to pay us, perspective.
The bare minimum.
Right. In some ways. But now that I'm looking at what the pay is going to be and I see that it is actually pennies or whatever the euro equivalent of that is. Yeah. I'm prepared to shed a tear. So, right. So I understand that depending on the internship that you have, depending on if you're with a company or maybe doing research, the pay can be very disparate. And my experience currently, so on Thursday, actually, I just officially secured an internship at.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wait, tell us off later. Where
Cool, I will. But so now I'm going through the process of signing the internship agreement, and I'm seeing like where the pennies are coming from.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like how do they expect
you to live,
to
eat?
Off of that, yeah.
So I'm gonna say the minimum requirement for an internship is about $550 per month.
Yeah.
Working 35 hours a week.
Every day of the week. And the crazy thing is, a lot of organizations don't allow interns to work from home.
Yep.
And so you have to go to work every single day of the week for 550
euro
per month.
Let's just have a moment of silence.
Right. I mean, honestly, rest in peace to our wallets.
Although I will say for paid internships, you have to work for the company for more than 2 months for them to be required to pay you. If it's less than that, they don't have to pay you.
Okay.
Or if it's less than a certain number of hours, they don't have to pay you. So I think it's like 200 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I also understand that on the other end, if you're working for a big company, you can get paid, 3 times as much as that per month.
Yeah.
Easily.
Ballin'. And you also have other benefits like, them paying for the
health insurance,
the other 30% of your health insurance that the government doesn't cover. My favorite benefit, which is the restaurant ticket, meal ticket cards.
Yes.
My life's dream is to have a meal ticket.
Same. Oh my God.
Although I had one, I was talking to a company and they were saying like, oh, we'll give you like €7 towards a €10 meal ticket. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
So apparently like they had like a canteen or something on base, and so like the set meal was like €10, so they would pay 7 towards it, but then you had to pay the other 3 every day. And I'm like,
yeah, usually that's how it works. Some organizations give you like 9 out of the 10.
Yeah.
Some give you 7, some give you 8. I think the minimum is like 7.
yeah.
And then it goes from there. Nobody really gives you everything, but it's still good. I'll take it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's money. It's food. It's food.
To be clear. No, but there are some companies that give you a card and you have like a €25
limit
per day.
Yeah, it's I think it's the same thing.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, so they calculate let's say €10 per day for all the working days in the month, and then give you the lump sum on the card, but then you have €25 limit to spend in a day.
I understand.
Yeah.
And you can use it, I think, at grocery stores and
Yes.
not just like at like restaurants. It's so good.
I know. Up until last year, it was just in restaurants and to pay for perishable items in shops. But now you can buy anything. Well, except alcohol.
Well,
If it's labeled as alcohol, it's not gonna go through. But you can still buy wine.
Yeah.
So
Wait, you can still buy wine? How the hell does wine not count?
Ask the French.
That's right. A dumbass question. Never mind. I forgot where I was. The other benefit that I really, really like is that they pay for your Navigo, like up to 70%. I've seen.
Oh my God.
Which is just like, oh, thank God, the train is so expensive.
Because it just went up in January.
Yeah.
Like,
I really hate
their
that
foot
increase.
is on my neck. I'm not sure about y'all.
I think I'm the one paying the least among us 3.
Yeah, because you're under 26, so you get
Yeah.
the student discount.
Yeah, but I think the how much interns are paid sometimes is decided by how old the intern is.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, I'm not sure, but I read some stuff online about how apprentices and interns are paid based on how old they are. So if you're below 25, there's a certain threshold that they are not going to cross.
Yeah.
If you are below 30, there's a certain threshold they are not crossing, and if you're above 30, you're probably not getting an alternance.
Yeah. And you legally can't. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be, I think the limit is 26. Or maybe it's 30.
No, I think it's 30.
I think it's 30, what I heard
31
from-
or
Yeah.
30. Yeah.
It's 30.
Yeah. So they justified the difference in payments according to age to the fact that with the fact that when you're below 26, a lot of things are free and you pay less than half price for a lot of things.
That is true.
It is true. So yeah.
I mean, like, fair enough. Like, it just makes me mad that they're like, did you go back to school to restart your life because you realized you made a mistake when you were young? You need to pay for that.
How can I start lying to the French government about my age?
I mean, honestly, like I'm up here already being like up 25, right?
Look,
I will change my birth date. It's fine.
I mean, if you both said you were 24, 23, everybody
Who
would
gonna
believe
check
it.
me? Exactly.
I definitely have gotten into museums using my student ID and just be like, don't look at the date.
Right. They looked at the date for me. I was like, why would you disrespect me this way?
Oh my God, did they?
They checked the
Yes.
date. Oh,
And they were like, that'll be 14 euros. I was like,
oh my God, that is me. That's fine.
Okay. So like one time I went on a date and the guy was like, "Oh, you can just tell them that you're a teacher," and they'll like and be like, "Oh, I forgot my teacher ID, so like, can I get into this museum like for free or like at a discount?" And I was just like, "Okay." And then when he went and he did that, and he was like, "Oh, I'm a teacher, but I'm sorry, I forgot my ID." And she's just like, and he's like, "She's a teacher too, so like, can we get in like at a discount?" And she was like, And I was like, "I have my student ID."
Museums are usually free for students. For teachers, sorry.
Yeah.
for teachers.
It's usually free.
It was so fucking funny because he was just like, "Oh yeah, she's a student too." And I'm like, "What the fuck, bro?"
Not a student and a teacher.
Yes.
Wait, but what was the result? Did y'all
She
get
gave
in
me
for-
the discount because I had my student ID, and he didn't get his because he didn't have a teacher ID. But he's not a fucking teacher as well. So I'm like, why you out here
Nonsense.
lying like this?
Right.
Damn, bitch. I got more stories to tell.
I have more stories.
Anyway, back to internships.
All right.
Yeah.
We've all been kind of like searching for internships. So where would you recommend people look for internships, and how did you get yours?
Okay, I can start.
Your face said a lot. Go ahead.
And my face is saying this because if I'm being honest, I could have applied to more. At some point, I kind of just
Gave up.
I just, all right, I'm going to do other things. But, yeah, but I'll tell you where I started. Okay, so there's, of course, the internet. There's Welcome to the Jungle, which is a major website for internships and alternances.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you a little bit more about my approach. Not that it was successful, but I started using the one word of mouth approach, and I got pretty far with one internship application through a recommendation.
Recommendation.
And then also I just started thinking about what do I want to do? What kind of companies do I want to be a part of? And what exists here in France, in Paris? And then I started searching those companies and then searching like, okay, do you guys have internship alternance programs? So I guess that's like the reverse, like starting with the company or like the field and then seeing if they have these kind of programs available.
Right.
So those were my 3 approaches. I don't have an internship from any of those approaches. No, but it's okay. And the internship that I have now is a personal project that I came to this program to pursue anyway. Okay. So this gives me the opportunity to develop that.
All right, that's actually really good. It's interesting. I kind of took the opposite approach where I was just like spray and pray. I'm like, you have an internship opening, you get an application, you get an application, you get an application.
Internship Oprah.
Literally. I'm just out here giving out applications to everybody. Yeah.
Which also makes sense because it's like you have to, I don't know if you ever heard that phrase, throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that phrase.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think when I first started, I was being really choosy. And I'm like, I don't know about this company. Or, oh, they're like not sustainably like sourced. Or like, they're an oil company. Now I'm just like, do you have an internship opening? please, sir, I need something.
I will do anything.
Literally.
Yeah, I think I started out the same as well. I was being very picky and choosy. I'm like, I want something that is, going to look good on my CV. Yes. Something that's going to pay me something significant because living in Paris is not cheap.
Nope.
And it's not for the faint of heart. I was just looking for something that would give me, some good money. And then I ended up sending like over 75 to 80 applications, and it was like, no. And then I started to get desperate, so I was just sending to anything and everywhere, everyone. Still nothing though, but it is what it is.
I had part of this approach, like, okay, I see an opening. It seems like something I can do. Let me submit an application. And then what made me end up like switching actually from there to being more like specific was the fact that I assumed that the no's that I was getting was because maybe they could tell somehow through my like cover letters or something that I wasn't like 110% passionate about this particular field. There's of course no way for me to tell if that's true.
I will say I applied to one job and they actually oddly gave me feedback. Like I did not ask for that, but they did. And she said like, oh, like make sure in your cover letter to include something about the company that like why you're applying for them. So apparently that actually is something that they look for here. Like
Yeah.
I'm also just like, bitch, I want money. What the hell are you talking about? Like
That's the motivation.
Yeah, why you think I'm coming here? If you wasn't paying me, I wouldn't be here.
There are a lot of things that they have internally that they check in applications for. You wouldn't know, and I think it varies from company to company. Like for example, I had this internship I applied for. I went from the recruitment interview to HR to team lead to the team members interview, and then that was where I got rejected because the team members felt like I didn't ask them certain questions that they were looking out for. I didn't ask them about their roles in the team. I didn't ask them about the team culture. I didn't, stuff. So it depends on the organization. I feel like every organization has certain things that they're looking out for. But also I feel like one thing that is not going, that's not going in our favor generally is the
Color
thing where you have to put your picture on the CV and then your name doesn't sound French enough. We're all black people, like visibly black. There's no dreads, big afro.
Black.
Dreads, big afro. And there is no way somebody would see our picture and be confused as to,
what race we are. Yeah.
Exactly. And they see the names Sochi, Adom, Simons. They see and they're like, this person is not from here. And then they just probably push us to the side. So, and it's interesting that in our class, Tiffany and I, everybody at a point got an internship and it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
And what made it worse was that the available opportunities were so few that the both of us had to be applying to the same things every single time.
And literally we get the same callbacks too.
Same callbacks. Yeah.
It'd be from the same companies. They were like the hiring manager's black, or they're like, they don't care about black people. Like, literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very blatant.
Yes.
Very, very blatant. Very, very blatant. So it's just, I don't know, the terrain here is very different from what I'm used to. In Ghana, for example, all the internships that I had were due to the people I knew. My first internship was because my dad was an accountant in the organization for many, many years. And so
I love that.
I know. I didn't even write an application. They just took me. They're like, oh, this is this man's son. He wants to be an intern. They're like, okay, come here. Let's put you here. And that was it. And then I was there for a couple of months. And then my second internship was because I had impressed someone with my writing. So I got to do that. And my third one was because I went to school in that school.
Damn.
And so, it's always been like, I've always been at the top. So coming here and then having to struggle to be at the bottom, it's so different.
It's hard. It really does. The rejection hurts. Like, and I'm the kind of person where if I apply for something, I'm like checking how far it would take me to get there, and I'm like dreaming about like the office space, and and I build this whole fantasy, and then when they reject me, it really is soul crushing for me. So I had to stop doing that. I had to be like, I get rejection and be like, what the fuck was this for? I don't even remember this shit. Okay, never mind.
Not for real.
I applied to over 100 applications.
So did I. I sent over 100 applications. So the crazy thing is, the internship that I'm about to start now didn't come out of any of those. It literally came out of somebody that I've had some experience with, somebody that I assisted on certain projects. And then we've met in certain spaces, and then they had an internship opening, and then it happened to cross my path, and then I went for an interview, and then they ended up picking me. It's insane how these things work here. One would expect that, it is France, it is Europe, and people would get what they work hard for, but
nope,
it's not the same for us, I guess.
I also talked with another woman that I met. So she's going to the same school as my mom, and she had to do her internship. She's in a master's program, but she had to do her internship last year, and she said that she applied to over 200 places, and she could not get an internship here in France. So she ended up having to do remote work back in her home country to get her internship qualified. Yeah.
Wow.
And she,
Of course.
of course.
Of course. Yeah, she's black.
Yeah, she's black. Oh, sorry. I forgot. This isn't
Whisper to the listener.
Yeah, and I've got friends from Ghana in other cities who are having to do remote internships back home just to validate their M1s or M2s. It's insane.
And there are countless stories. I was just listening to a friend's story who is also having trouble getting an internship, and he has a very Muslim name, and he was advised by one of his professors to just put another name on his application.
Oh,
Because-
yeah.
comparing to his classmates doing the exact same thing, but they're getting internships and he's not. I mean, what would it hurt to try? I mean, it's not like there's a history here of not being racist.
Of course. Of course.
It's a harsh reality, but it is true. Racism is alive and well in Paris. I mean, I know they're all we don't see color, and it's bullshit.
See, we don't see color is literally a red flag for me, because what do you mean you don't see color?
It's are you actually colorblind? Are you a dog? What the
Are
hell?
you a dog?
It is a
asking.
red flag, because all of the people that I've come into contact with that do this, I don't see color, they have ended up being the most racist people ever, so it just pisses me off. But then I really don't blame the people too much, because they're taught from school, from early ages, that we're all one race, we're all humans, and there's no color.
But also only hire your white friends.
Exactly.
Help.
Exactly.
It's this weird sort of double standard of I won't address the issue, so you can't fix the issue because
Exactly.
there is no issue.
Exactly.
But there very clearly is an issue.
And it is insane that the government refuses to acknowledge different races in the country. In their population censuses, they don't count races.
Yep.
Literally, it is illegal to conduct any form of public information sourcing that takes into account people's races in France. That is insane to me.
If you close your eyes and bury your head in the sand, then the problem doesn't exist, but it's actually exacerbated.
Exactly. They're acting like ostriches, just putting their head in the sand and shaking their bumps in the air. It doesn't exist. But
to Afrobeats music.
yes.
Okay, I also must say, France has a weird obsession with Black American culture. It's so annoying.
Is it different from the rest of the world in some way that having lived other places?
No.
I would say no.
No, I would say no. It's pretty similar, actually. A weird sort of fetishization about gangsta life or
Help.
Yeah, I know.
French people, especially Parisians, are obsessed with New York.
Yes, they
It's
fucking
insane.
love it.
They just save up all year and go to New York, and stay in New York for a weekend or two, and then they come back and they're like, yeah, I've been to New York.
Help. Not in their defense, but in their defense, I feel like Americans do the same thing. Oh my God, I went to Paris.
We do idolize Paris. We really do. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We
Paris
were
is bougie as hell. We're oh my God, I was in Paris. It was so cool.
And we were talking about the expectation versus the reality. Once you actually start living in Paris, and most people are like, this is your king.
This is poverty. Oh my God, I have no money here.
Right.
Vì để còn lắm sóng gió, sao em không ngồi lại cùng chút bình minh, tạm bỏ lại cánh trên vai, theo anh đi tìm lại một phút yên bình. Ngày rồi ngày vẫn những khó khăn, em vẫn xoay vẫn cùng những nốt thăng trầm, nhưng cứ vui lên em, vì ngày mai lại một cơ hội để ôm trọn thế giới và cứ tan vào nhắc em đêm tối nay, cứ tan trong màn đêm ngày đắm say, cứ chôn vùi lắng lo vào sáng mai, chút yên bình chắc đâu từng đúng sai.
suy bao âu lo anh bỏ lại hết đằng sau. Đây là cuộc vui đôi khi cho em quên điều gì còn giữ trong đầu. Vài lần người ta cho em cười, cho em say, cũng cho em khóc vì đau. Nhưng cứ vui lên đi, vì ngày mai lại một cơ hội và ta ngại ngần chi hay cứ tâm vào những em đêm tối đây. Cứ tan trong màn đêm này đắm say.
Going back to internships, so once your internship is complete, one of the criteria for it is the end of term report that you have to do here in France, which I have no idea what that would entail. But I suppose it's like a defense of what you did in your internship.
Yeah.
So
Is this your thesis that you?
No.
It's
So
different.
it's like a defense of your internship. So basically, you need to present what you learned from the program. And I think not all internships in France require this, but a lot of them do.
I mean, if it is to validate a year of study, then you have to present the report. But it's not that different from what I'm used to. For example, in Ghana, in my undergrad, I was studying to be a French teacher, so I had to do an internship in a secondary school, teach kids, and after that, I had to present a report, like 15 pages of everything that I did, everything the progress of the students, how I monitored their progress, what I worked on, the feedback that I got from the students, and so it was pretty good. I'm really looking forward to this because I hear it's just a few pages.
Okay,
So,
well,
yeah.
that's actually not too bad. Like, I did an internship at the end of my studies as well, but I did not have to do a report. They were just like, have your supervisor sign this form, thanks.
Yeah.
So they just need me to validate the hours that I worked, but I guess that does make sense.
Yeah.
Like to have that sort of report at the end of it.
Yeah, it was also important because the semester, the term that I spent with the students, I had to conduct research for my long essay, my final year thesis. It was just on some of the issues that students face when they're learning French. So I had to conduct surveys, just controlled experiments and stuff like that. So I had to report on all of those. I included the methodology, the results, everything in my thesis, but still I had to make a report for my external supervisor and then have it validated by my internal direct line supervisor as well. It was a lot.
But still, I think that's a good way to sort of reflect on what you learned from the internship, which
Yeah.
is the main goal. I mean, like getting paid is, of course, a very nice bonus, but the main point should be learning.
Yeah, we called it reflective practices. So just like reflection on what you did, what you didn't do, what you would have done differently. It was cool.
Okay. I think we don't have that in the States, right?
No, or I'll say it wasn't my experience. I mean, I know some people do like co-ops and internships, but I mean, it was never my experience. But I did a few fellowships, which were a little different. But at the end of all of those, I wrote some kind of report or did a presentation, a lot of posters since I was in research.
So kind of going backwards, before you start an internship, what are some of the things that you need from your school?
An internship agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, an internship agreement. I guess you'll have to, first of all, make contact with the internship organization. And then when they accept you to start an internship, then you get the working conditions, like the amount of hours you're going to work, how much they're going to pay you, how long they want you to stay for. And then you calculate the number of hours that you're going to spend in total in the organization. And then you present that with the information about the organization to your school, I guess. And then have it validated. At least that's my experience in, here. Have it validated by the team that runs the program. And then have it submitted to the higher-ups for signing and stamping. And then you send it to the school, the organization, for them to sign, you sign, and then you can start, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, not in that order, but...
Yeah, but like it's kind of convoluted, I feel like, because there's so many signatures that you need. Like, who are all these people? Who the hell signed this? Like, it should just be me in this organization, should it not? Like, maybe one more person? Why do I need like 6 of them?
I think the organizations get to escape some tax.
They do.
When it's sanctioned by your school. Sorry, so they prefer that you get like the convention from your school, because then it's indemnifies them from paying some taxes. So it's
Although I did look it up. So actually, there is you can have a stage or internship if you're working. It's like basically through the government. It's a little bit more difficult to get, but it is possible to have that. But usually, yeah, they do want the ones through your school because of the tax break. And I think your salary, they don't have to pay any taxes on it. It's just whatever they pay you is what they have to pay.
I need you to run it back. So
Yep.
you're saying if you're working, you can
Mhm.
also get a.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working, you can also get an
Yeah.
internship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But, like, you mean
absolutely.
like you're not in school, but
If you're not in school, yeah, you can get one, but you have to basically apply and get one through your local government that says like, oh, I'm like either looking to change careers or I've like completed my my studies, but I want to do an internship, and you can get one through the government.
But also in school, you can have an internship and then have a job on the side as well, because the internship hours are technically not deducted from your visa hours, like working hours. You have 35 hours to work a week. So if you can keep a job and then do your internship, it's fine, because the internship is considered as part of your studies.
It doesn't count towards the working
No.
hours for the visa.
So I think
No.
in France you can have 964 hours of work per year, which equals out to about 20 hours a week. But yeah, because your studies are considered, or sorry, your internship is considered part of your studies, it does not count towards that 964. So make bank.
Some of
Well,
your
not
job.
bank. You survive. You're just surviving.
Yeah.
Honestly, truly. But the other thing I want to think is that you also need insurance. So they have like the national insurance here, but you need additional insurance when you're doing your internship. Have you guys done that process yet?
You talking about the additional 30%?
Yeah.
I applied for CMUC several months ago.
No, there's a different one that you need.
Is it the
Like the workers.
yeah? So there's
insurance.
this type of insurance, civil insurance.
Mhm.
Yeah, you
Civil liability.
civil liability. Yeah,
Yeah,
civil
I got
liability
that.
insurance.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I have that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it in conjunction with my housing insurance.
Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've had that since I came,
Yeah.
and I pay through the nose for it every month.
Wow.
You have to pay
really?
monthly for yours?
Yeah, I pay 15 euros for like housing and civil liability together. I think
Wait, 50 or 15?
15.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's not too bad.
People are paying 8 and 7.
Oh, never mind.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
because I'm never going to break anything. Like they're just taking my money. Like, they're
But
never.
why is yours so expensive? Do you know?
Because my bank hoodwinked me into signing a deal.
Oh, yeah, them.
Yeah.
We've kind of talked about this a lot already, but have you found yourself making sort of any adjustments or
Fuck.
changes to yourself to sort of fit into the working system or into the internship system here in France?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yes. I've had to make a lot of adjustments to how I like to present myself on paper in order to even get interviews. Like, I'm not one for many words on paper.
Mm.
I like to be simple and to present a general idea of whatever it is that I need to present. It's always worked for me back home, at least, where I can present a simplified version of a CV, highlighting just very key points. And then when I get my foot in the door, I get to explain myself further. But over here, it's like I had to make about not less than 10 versions of my CV before I started getting interviews. And the one that started getting me interviews had a lot of information.
Mm.
They expect you to put like everything on the paper and then keep it to one page.
Yeah.
And how the fuck am I supposed to do that?
0.8 font.
Look. Yeah.
How the fuck am I supposed to do that? You know?
I also had the same experience. I changed my CV like half a dozen times, and my cover letter. I think I have like 4 versions of my cover letter that I send out based off of the company's website.
Oh, I applied to over 100 internships, and then every application had a different cover letter. So from December till now, I've written not less than 100 cover letters or letters of motivation. That is insane to me. And so they didn't pick me.
And honestly, I didn't expect this level of rejection. I think coming from like the workspace where I have been working for like the past decade, and my like CV looks good to people like in Japan, and I'm just like, hey, do you want to hire me? Bitch, I don't want you. I'm fine. That was like my style, and I thought it was going to be the same thing coming in for internships, and it really wasn't. And I really hurt my self-esteem, honestly.
I can understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And we're out here begging to work. Like, if you think about it, like, it's kind
We're
of
literally
nonsense.
begging to work for free.
Right.
Basically.
For free.
Basically, yeah.
Because 500 a month, look, it's nothing.
It's really nothing.
It's not
enough
even
to wipe
paying
your
rent.
ass with. No.
It's not even paying rent.
What was your experience sort of with your like CV game, your cover letter game?
Same thing. So I made changes to my CV at probably, over 10 iterations to the CV. It got better, cuter, whatever, every time. But probably like 10 to 15 different changes. I did submit different CVs depending on the job, because coming from digital sciences, I can work in a few different fields. So I did apply to some health and tech jobs, some business and tech, whatever type jobs. So I would amend my little description a little bit based off of those, or like highlight maybe different skills. And then the cover letter, same. I had a different cover letter for every job that I applied to put specifics about the company. I don't have an internship in many of these companies. But yeah, I know that's part of the game. You have to tell them like, oh, you guys are so important to me.
I know.
And specifically why, you know.
I'm like, you have money. I need money.
Right.
Please.
We all know why I'm
pay me.
here.
Like,
So
Why are we playing
lying?
games? Why are we playing games? I
know.
need your money. You need me. Just let's exchange.
Seriously.
it's fine. It's not fine.
It's not fine. It's really not fine. It's not.
It's fine, but the room is on fire.
Yes, seriously. But I found that like having to apply for internships and having that like constant like weight and negativity made it really hard to focus on anything
Anything
else.
Yeah,
I've heard this
that's
exact
true.
same thing from other people. Yeah, it's true. And it's like, and it's disheartening. And it's, yeah. I think that's part of why I was just like, nope. And like just took a hard left and was just like, I'ma just
Go live my life.
just go live my life. Yeah.
Honestly, like I was so surprised. You were just like, I'm just not. And I'm like, aren't you applying? You're like, no, just no.
Is that correct? I'm not going to say yes and I'm not going to say no. But like, I think sometimes I can just,
Check out.
yeah, if something is not going.
Like disassociate. Be like,
Right.
No, I'm going to apply for internships next week.
I'll be
Next
over
week.
here. Yeah.
But also, I found myself making physical changes to myself just to, land internships. Like, I had to keep my hair in a certain way to appear for internships, so as not to appear threatening or too black. But there's nothing I can do about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just been a roller coaster. At a point, I was talking to my big brother back home about how I'm applying for stuff and I cannot sleep and I'm not getting an internship and the money in my account is finishing and I have like just a few weeks of money left. And then he was like, why don't you just cut your hair? Because, because I was doing everything I was supposed to do, but nothing was going according to plan. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to let them have this. I'm just going to keep my hair. But then I have to wear it in a certain way. I have to make sure it's completely detangled and looks like a presentable afro.
Yeah.
You know, just keep it tight and tidy so nobody can tell me it looks unprofessional. It's been insane.
Yeah.
That's a very good point that you made, though. Like the fact that like it doesn't matter how you wear your hair, you're still black. So
Yeah.
on one hand, I'm kind of like, do what you want to do, you know.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I can see how it still makes you feel like you want to like contort to a certain way. But like, what way is going to be presentable besides cutting into a Caesar?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though, like if I go to like an interview, I'm not gonna wear like any like really bright colors like African prints, things like that. I would tone it down for like 100%.
I wear what's considered like
Office appropriate, like
air quote, big air quote, office
yeah.
appropriate. But that being said, like my picture in my CV is definitely like very.
But you look fucking fly in that picture. Like I love that picture. I wish I had that confidence. I'm just like, oh my god.
I don't have an internship. Okay, so I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I don't know what's right.
True, but that's a very nice picture.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's weird. But I think I lean more into the side like there's nothing I can do. I am an unambiguous black, so I might as well be black, you know.
Just show up.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I can do. Just show up and then do everything to the best of my ability. But if that's not going to work for you, I honestly don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people listening to this will say like, oh no, like you just think it's because you're black, or like that's definitely not the reason. There were other things, but I think it does play a role. Even if it's not like the only reason, it still plays a role. Like you can't look at the numbers and tell me it doesn't.
I can't help but notice that between what you said about you all being the ones having the most trouble in your class getting an internship, the friend I was just talking about with his name, and the people in my class, you know, like maybe there's other factors, but maybe it's
not.
okay for this to be one of them. Like we don't have to like avoid it being the case. For me, at least, like I think the first thing I would say is like, oh, like I could have applied to more, especially based off of what I heard y'all say and my friends yesterday. I was like, clearly I quit too soon. I was like, bye y'all. But I know also at some point I got really excited about one that I felt was going well, so I just started putting all my eggs in that basket.
Yeah, I did that too.
It's happened to me like 2 or 3 times already.
Yeah. It's part of the game. It's true.
It is.
Wrap your arms around my waist, sweet with the bitter aftertaste. Should I blame it on the retrograde? Why you won't cooperate with me? I get crazy cause of midnight, and I end up cause it feels nice. Instant gratification, call it hedonism. Zara, zara, मैं चलता है, महकता है, आज तो मेरा तन बदन, मैं प्यासी हूँ, मुझे ले ले अपनी बाहों में. So consumed, overindulged.
Last time I was swiping on Tinder, and then there was this girl who was like, I'm looking for an internship. And there was a picture of her CV.
You're lying.
I'm telling you. She's like, I'm looking for an internship. And there was a picture of her
I
CV.
love that.
And a picture of her face.
Oh my
And
god,
it's
I
like,
might make a
wow.
second Tinder just for
All
that.
the best.
Honestly, that sounds about right.
Seriously. Oh my god. That's networking.
I'm telling you, I was like, that's actually pretty smart.
It is.
Yeah.
I think you also have to have hope, or at some point you just get so discouraged and you can't really like put your all into it if you don't like have some emotional, you know, connectivity towards the job. But that brings us to the end of our episode. So we would love to hear from you guys who are here in Paris or abroad who are applying for internships. So you can send us your stories at coloringparis.podcasts@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Coloring Paris. Hashtag Coloring Paris. We'd love to hear from you guys, and maybe we'll read out some of your interesting stories on the podcast next week. We'd love to hear what your opinion, what you think about life in Paris, or what you're interested in learning about from us and our experience. So please feel free, reach out. We'll hear from you. All right, signing off. This has been Tiffany.
It's Sochi.
And it's Adam.
Bye.
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 You sound all sultry and shit.
Yeah.